What's going on, everyone? This is going to be an interesting video because this is going to be about how it's impossible for me to see Nintendo as the most anti-consumer. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I'm going to explain that by what I mean about comparing what PlayStation had going at the beginning and what Switch 2 has going at the beginning, and just how things operate, right? And differences in pricing. So I'm looking at another screen, so I'm gonna look like I'm looking to the camera sometimes because I have my Switch up as well. So let's start off with this. One, if we realize we know that Sony charges $9.99 for any upgrade from PS4 to PS5, but Nintendo doesn't. What's more interesting is what Digital Foundry said here, and we're going to get into some more things. We're going to look on the shop, and I'm also going to share some things with you guys about how you can get deals on games and save yourself money. Um, Definitely for people who don't know that. So Digital Foundry says that Link's Awakening remake and Echoes of Wisdom. By the way, I have Link's Awakening, phenomenal game, and I'm gonna vouch what we're saying. This is going to be true. Are like free remasters on the Switch too, guys. Think about that. And I'm not joking. The difference of some of these games going from Switch 1 to Switch 2 is absolutely ginormous. And like I said, Sony would have put a price tag on this, or maybe charged for a remaster, and we released it. Nintendo didn't do this. Why are they giving free remaster updates? Not only that, but let's go to this website. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, plus Smash, which I don't know why they didn't add that on here. I got to update it. So 14. 14 next-gen updated games. Like I said, 4K, 60, HDR, all of that, y'all. Like, they've added in game chat options. You can be share your screen with people. And it's not just no small little update. They're, like, literally fully optimized. And there is a major difference with loading and all of that. Sony would have charged $9.99 for all of these games. Or some of these would have been sold as remasters. If they were so anti-consumer, they wouldn't do that. Also, would not be using my Pro Controller right here. I would only be able to use the Pro Controller that they just came out with, right? So here's some more interesting things that I have to show y'all, which is very interesting. Let's tab over to the Switch real quick. So starting off, one thing I will say that obviously anybody does better than Nintendo is putting their prices on sale. It's not that they don't do sales, but they just don't knock it down enough. But here's I don't know if you guys remember the voucher, but I want to show you something. Actually, I don't even need to go here. I can just go over to the online. So this is the method that I'm going to use, and you guys should do the same thing. What you're going to do is you're going to go over to special offers, and then you're going to go down to vouchers. So guys, these right here work for games that are going to be on the Switch too. Yes. I'm going to give you an example here. So you're going to figure out what a voucher is. Basically, what it is that it's a ticket that you could buy that allows you to get 2 games for $50. Doesn't matter. As long as it's on the list. And when you buy that, it has a 1-year expiration date. You can hold on to it. Obviously, they don't want you to exploit it, so they're not going to do that.
Nintendo Switch Online membership, there's an exclusive offer available for you. Nintendo Switch game vouchers. Here's how it works. Purchase a pair of Nintendo Switch game vouchers for $99.98.
So you see that and guys, you can hold up to 8 vouchers. So basically you can get any of these games you want and you'll save yourself money. So for example, Pokemon Legends Z, hey, yeah, that's coming to Switch 2, right? And that's going to have a Switch 2 upgrade. If you got the voucher, you're paying $50 for this. You see what I'm trying to do here? What if they include the free upgrade and the Nintendo Switch Online upgrade pack? When they launch it, they might just do that. So you'll be paying $50 for this instead of $70 on Switch with tax. You feel me on this? Look, see right here, the Switch 2 pre-order is $70 and the upgrade pack is $10. But guys, with the voucher, you're getting this game for $50. You can choose whatever you want on this list. See all of these games. As long as it's in here, remember, and you got the Switch 2 upgrade for this too, right? So you're not paying for this Switch 2 next gen upgrade. So you could get the Pokemon Scarlet, and you can get the pre-order in for this, both for $100 right now. Instead of spending $70 on that plus tax and $60 on that. So $100 instead of $130 plus tax, whatever. You see what I mean? I wouldn't say that's anti-consumer because they would have blocked that and not allow you to do that. Or just wouldn't make it possible. This is another game that I see getting a Nintendo Switch 2 patch, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. 60 frames or whatever. This is online, by the way. Amazing game. So I'll probably grab that and that. That's what I'm going to do with the voucher, just to give you guys an idea. And like I said, you can grab any game you want. And some of these games have Switch 2 patches. So Super Mario Bros. Wonder, you guys saw me stream that. And I'll give you an example. If we go down here and read this, like it says right here, paid Nintendo Switch Online memberships required at the time of purchase and redemption of the vouchers. Nintendo Switch game vouchers must be redeemed within 12 months from the purchase date. Okay, so you can have up to a maximum of 8 vouchers. Guys, that's 16 games right now that you're always guaranteed at $49.99. Now, sometimes you'll get sales, so you wouldn't do that, right? Let me give you an example. If you look at this list right here, there's a lot of games in here. All the best games are here. That's the cool thing. They put all their first-party games here. You'll find Bowser's Fury. I think I passed it up. It's somewhere in here, which I kind of want to get. Well, anyways, yeah, there it is right there in the middle. You guys will see it next to Bravery Default 2. Now, if I go over to, let's just get out of this real quick. I want to show you guys something. I always thought the voucher program was actually pretty cool. But you kind of need something like that if you're never putting your games on sale a lot like the others do. You know what I mean? So I can see how somebody would probably come to counter that, but I find that cool because it's always like pretty much there. Yeah, so for example, this game is $39.99. You wouldn't waste a voucher on this because you're getting the sale right now. You see what I mean? So you would be selective on it. Obviously, I know 100% for sure who in their right minds will not use that voucher on Pokemon Legends ZA and just save it for another game that you need, because that's a pre-order you're getting in on the Switch. That ain't going on sale anytime soon. So the best deal would be to do that. So who would make it to where a new game is coming out on a next-gen platform, you'll be able to get it for $20 cheaper? That's what I'm saying. That's not anti-consumer behavior. Do they have anti-consumer behavior? Yeah, of course. $80 for Mario Kart, anti-consumer behavior. But basically what I'm saying is that that's an example of looking at Sony's practices and looking at Nintendo's practices. You wouldn't be getting none of these deals like this. Definitely for games that just came out. You also wouldn't be getting, like I said, those free updates. They are all charging $9.99 for it, which is absolutely stupid. So you also have the virtual game cards that you could share with people. You can share your screen with people as well, if what you guys know about if they have the game. So I mean, there's ways to get around it. Definitely family members, you can send them virtual game cards as well. Not that hard to do. If you guys was curious about it, you literally just click on this. Whatever you have, you can lend out to your friends. So it doesn't matter. Like, I'll just do this, load to the other system, right? Or you could lend to a family member. And the cool thing about the family members is they don't have to necessarily be next to you. You can just pass it wherever. But for anything else, you're pretty much connected. Once you connect your consoles, it doesn't matter after that. You can just send games back and forth. So you'll do this. Obviously, it's saying this, but once you link, it'll say there are no other systems that with the virtual game card can be loaded onto. So I would just send it to them. They'll borrow it for 2 weeks. And then once the 2 weeks are up, it just expires and you resend it. I prefer this system, let me tell you guys why, over the one of giving somebody my email and my password. And who knows what could happen, right? You know what I mean? Some people disappear. Something may happen. With that 14 days, it just automatically goes back to you no matter what. And it's safer that way. And to me, more professional. And if I just want to resend it, I can just keep resending it as much as I want. It's just give you guys ways to save money. You know what I mean? Be it if you have a friend and you know what I mean, you're close to each other, send each other games. Definitely single player games. Multiplayer I can understand because you have to play that every single day. But for single player games, it's like, yeah, I'm sending you this. I already have it beat. Here you go. Lend it. No problem. You know what I mean? Then you got the vouchers and, you know, all that type of stuff. So that's what I have to say, that's the positive aspects to this. The negatives is that they don't do enough sales. So I told you, go into the eShop. I think more games should be on sale. Like, for example, if it was me launching this, I would have preferred them put all Switch 1 games on sale immediately so that people could just get into the backwards compatibility easier. They're doing a sale now, which isn't too bad. Like I said, you could just go here. This is where you see sales. So you can get some first party games right now. Animal Crossings, you know, that's a good deal or whatever. But like I said, some of these, man, I mean, this should be 29, 29. Come on, man, 19.99. This is where I say that where Nintendo's annoying. There should be more games up there, but they do sales now, guys. They don't. They never used to. Now they do. So you'll see stuff like this now, which is nice. But like I said, I think that they should be cheaper. This is me though. Something else that I think that they should have done, which I'm kind of disappointed in, is promoting their backwards compatibility system. I mean, it's great, but they say nothing about it. There's things that are great that I thought, like the voucher system. They don't tell anybody any of this stuff that I'm promoting to you guys. So yeah, that's basically kind of like some things I wanted to highlight real quick. Just to say that right at the beginning of the gen, that is actually pretty nice. Free next gen upgrades that you don't have to pay for. Voucher ticket systems that you can basically get a good deal on. Who knows? Metroid doesn't have a release date. That could end up appearing in there. That's a cross-gen game. That would be amazing. I would definitely get a voucher ticket for that to pay $50 for. But that's pretty much it. So it's just a video to basically get a little bit creative and create a topic. I was like, let me brainstorm a little bit. Yeah, let's do a video about how Nintendo actually is a little bit more generous than Sony on certain things. One thing that I say that Sony did very good is having that digital console at $399, because having the same specs for the PS5 and just being diskless is still the best console deal, I think, this generation. I don't think anything compares to that. So I have to say I'll give Sony props for that. When the prices were actually good, right? Now that's not necessarily the case anymore. So, but during that time, that was actually really good. I'll give them credit for that. But other than that, no. I mean, they keep jacking up the price. We got one more thing to compare here. You guys ready? This is where Nintendo also beats them. 8 years in a row, by the way. And guys, you have to admit this. $19.99 for one damn year. The cheapest online out of all three consoles. Obviously, Game Pass is worth its deal. You know what I mean? But not everybody's going to be getting on that. But still, by far, I'm still going to say it. But to only charge even $4 for my daughter, recommend that, because you'll be spending $48 over 12 months rather than $20. You're better off just getting the $20. It's literally nothing. That's a meal for you a day. Or maybe two if you can get good deals, you know what I mean? Or whatever. Whereas like 1 month of PlayStation Plus, just basic, is $9.99. 2 months of Plus is a whole entire year. Now, down here, obviously, I have the expansion pack because I think it's worth it. I get the free upgrade packs. I get really good deals, and I get all those retro communities that I can play online. We need to talk about online service. That's one thing that I need to talk about as well. I feel like Nintendo's online service is definitely better value because their games are very expensive to even try to buy in real life like that. Like some of them are just ridiculously expensive. And for what they're giving you, it's absolutely worth it. You can get a family membership for $35 and all of you can just pass each other games and have the same account, which is actually pretty cool. So that definitely helps out. You can actually have up to 8 members on the family membership too. So 8 people could just be getting really good deals. Yeah. Like I said, when it comes to family membership, you can share whatever you want. So yeah, guys, think about that compared to what Sony's offering. And then you just look at some of those games for Plus. It's like, what is that crap? I'd rather take some of Nintendo's retro games. Like I said, whole Nintendo 64 catalog. You know what I mean? And I can play this online with people. Whole Super Nintendo, regular Nintendo, Game Boy Advance, you know, Nintendo Switch Online, and GameCube and Sega Genesis. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 entire generations of consoles of retro classics that are consistently being added. Each of these are getting games each month. So you're getting that many games each month. And you can play them online. And they're all also upscaled. Yeah, some of them are having issues right now. I don't expect them to have a perfect launch. No console is going to launch perfectly. So, yeah, I'm aware of that. And there's nothing wrong with people reporting that. That's good. Why is that bad? No, fix it then. You know what I mean? But if you're sitting here thinking everything's perfect, it's like you're never going to fix anything if there isn't, if you don't think there isn't a problem. But yeah, I mean, just for example, very cool stuff right here. I literally like this service better than Sony's service. Just gonna say, because Nintendo's retro library is way more just quality oriented. So like I said, play with everyone, play online. You could just start up a session. You could screen share as much as you want. Another thing that annoys me that I never liked with the Xbox consoles compared to what Nintendo and Sony has is that you can screen share as much as you want, even with the game chat system. By the way, guys, I've tried it out. It actually is pretty good. There is no noise in the background. I didn't even use like any mic. I just used straight up the console and it works flawlessly. I actually feel like they have the best noise reduction system, like period. I remember trying with the PlayStation controller, speaking into the DualSense, and it would just echo a lot and it'd be annoying. You could tell when somebody's using it. On the Switch 2, I was in a full game chat, invited friends, literally no issues. It actually works really good. So yeah, but I agree with people. I'm putting it behind a paywall, but I mean, it's 1999. That shit is, who would not have that? You know what I mean? But yeah, it still should have been a basic free feature. It would have been better. But yeah, you could play online. You could do this with anything. You could save whatever you want. We're not going to go through all of that, but I'm just saying, I feel like the value that you're getting out of their games, the value that you're getting out of their service, the way that they launched the console, and the deals the deals that you're getting right at the beginning are definitely better than what Sony was offering. That's just my take because I have all of them. I've experienced all of them, and I still have not seen any launch title compared to Mario Kart World. Even though I don't agree with the price tag, but it's better than anything Sony launched. Just saying it is. Because some people like Demon Souls, sure, but it didn't move any needles. It didn't sell much, and I love Demon Souls. But that's a remake. That's not a true next-gen game at launch. What did Sony have? Microsoft had nothing. They're giving you all this backwards compatibility day one, like all they did, and they're dropping you next-gen games. We got Mario Kart World, which is a next-gen game. Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is a next-gen game the next month. They did not do that. You know what I mean? Then you got Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. That's a next-gen game. Kirby Air Riders. That's a next-gen game. We got Metroid Prime coming at the end of the year. You know what I mean? You got Pokemon Legends ZA coming at the end of the year. It's like, damn, they're dropping a lot of games, right? You know what I mean? That wheelchair game I'm actually laughing at. I'm not going to really count that. But you guys got to get the point. We had full next-gen Breath of the Wild, full next-gen Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, you're getting all these free next-gen upgrades too. You have a lot here. It's not a ton, obviously, but you have a roadmap all the way to the end of the year, all the way up till next year. And you're going to be getting a lot of other games too. So like some of the stuff I hear people say, I'm like, yeah, but did you take a look at what they did for at the launch of Series X and PlayStation 5? And then they launched that new, announced that new Splatoon game. It just blows my mind because I'm like, they already have a lot of next-gen games. They were doing nothing but cross-gen. And Sony lied to you. Nintendo didn't lie to you. They just did that bull crap with 80. But other than that, yeah, let me know what you guys think about this. Just giving the analysis of like seeing the differences of launches here. That's why this video is important here. Because I don't think people are talking about that. And I thought that'd be a creative topic. Yeah, let's talk about the differences of launches. Yeah, Nintendo did a better job than both of them. So let me know what you guys think about this. All right, y'all. Peace out. Have a great day.